Copy. Romeo 5. Okay, and don't rush. Let's take it easy. Command has been sent. Is this better, or do you want to?
And here's a look at some of the live telemetry and video pictures from the Soyuz 35 spacecraft as it brings Fyodor Yurshkin, Karen Nyberg, and Luca Parmitano within clear visual range of the International Space Station. Now, just under 2 kilometers to the International Space Station, coming up on impulse burn number 5.
Copy, we're watching.
Continuing to refine the approach to the orbiting outpost.
At 04:46:30. 1,050 meters. Range rate 3.45 meters per second. Copy. The station is...
The visiting vehicle officer here in Mission Control reports to Flight Director Royce Renfrew that Soyuz 35 spacecraft with a trio of space explorers is now 1 kilometer away from the International Space Station. The approach coming in at just under 3.5 meters per second. Lower left-hand corner of the screen on this downlink view from the external cameras, you can see the Soyuz as it continues to match orbits with the International Space Station.
How are you receiving the rendezvous display? Olympia, we're receiving a video of display. It's good quality, and we're braking still, so we're performing the next depot burn. Copy.
So yet another impulse burn coming up to continue slowing the rate of speed for the Soyuz spacecraft as it closes in, now about 3/4 of a kilometer from the International Space Station. We're slowing down from about 3.5 meters per second down to 2.5 meters per second, and that rate will continue to slow until Soyuz matches speed with the International Space Station and begins its station keeping.
I have a very clear image of station in Veska. Copy. The USOS, a large diameter, is getting closer to half of a square, and depots are on for retrograde burn, and rate is going down, and we're watching further.
More of that downlink telemetry from the Soyuz spacecraft. You can see that we are just about half a kilometer from the International Space Station. The distance to the station down the lower left-hand quadrant of this display. The rate of approach is slowed to 1.39 meters per second.
Half of a square. We copy.
International Space Station looming large in the Soyuz's cameras. It's the size of an American football field, including the end zones. As much room inside as a 5-bedroom house, complete with a gymnasium and a bay window that allows a unique view on the world below.
Another command for AJC mode. Just the same command, Romeo 5, to switch between AJC. Okay, sending command. How are you receiving a video now? This is much better, thank you. And you can use AJC mode at your discretion as necessary. Copy.
Visiting vehicle officer reports that the Soyuz spacecraft had begun its fly-around. This is a slight change in its orientation relative to the station and bringing it into alignment with the Rosvet docking port.
Range, and you're flying around? Yes. We're flying around at a range of 368 meters. Range rate is about 1 meter per second. In the C line, the first digit is 0. Copy.
Soyuz spacecraft disappearing behind one of the station's solar arrays as it begins to fly around and align itself with the docking port. Again, we are aiming toward a docking with the space station at 9:16 p.m. Central Time, just 22.5 minutes from now. About 5 minutes remaining in this station keeping until we begin station keeping after the Soyuz aligns itself with the docking port.
We still have fly around, lock on, 300 meters range. 0.68 meters per second range rate. Copy. At 04:55, we might have LOS on S band for about 5 minutes. Copy at 04:55, we might have LOS.
Soyuz maintaining a distance of about 300 meters as it does this fly around to align itself with the docking port. Once it is in general alignment with the docking port, we'll begin the station keeping period.
270 meters.
Station keeping scheduled to begin at 58 minutes before the hour.
Copy.
Or about 4 minutes from now. And then at 9:05 p.m. we will begin the start of final approach. The clouds of the South Pacific providing a majestic backdrop to the Soyuz as it closes in on the International Space Station. Of course, Commander Fyodor Yashkin, NASA astronaut Karen Nyberg, and European Space Agency and Italian astronaut Luca Parmitano aboard that spacecraft. Preparing to arrive at their new home away from home, the International Space Station. Visiting vehicle officer reports we've got about 15 degrees left to go before we're in alignment with the docking port.
Yes, Captain.
Prosviet's the name of that docking module. It is the Russian word for dawn, and it was delivered and installed on the International Space Station on May 14, 2010. Here's a graphic that depicts where Soyuz 35 TMA 09M will be docking on the Earth-facing port of that docking connection.
Page 63 is complete.
Now 18 minutes, 30 seconds to docking.
This is too early. First, we need to do the Zavkon. So sorry. I'll wait.
And we've temporarily lost our signal through the tracking data relay satellite system, which is relaying that from the Moscow Mission Control Center here.
We can only receive it when we have KU-band, so please provide continuous.
We should be getting the
detailed comment.
connection back in just a few minutes here. This is an expected loss of signal period. All systems going very well with this Soyuz rendezvous and docking following today's 3:31 p.m. Central Time launch from the Baikonur Cosmodrome in Kazakhstan. A few minor hiccups in the preparations to get the space station ready to accept the arriving vehicle and crew, but the beta gimbal assembly that was not latching down properly, one of those systems that allows the solar arrays to best track the sun and provide maximum power generation, requiring a couple of different tries to get it latched, but then latching successfully and giving us the go for a nominal rendezvous and docking.
Confirm transition to inaudible 1. Copy.
On board the International Space Station, Commander Pavel Vinogradov and his Russian colleague Alexander Mazurkin, along with American Chris Cassidy, carefully monitoring the approach of the Soyuz spacecraft toward their home away from home.
We copy both.
Again, the Soyuz rendezvous is being directed by an automated docking system. But the crew is in the Russian segment of the space station ready to take manual control if there should be some unusual failure of the automated system. But so far it's working like a champ.
Скорость практически 0.
Range rate is pretty much 0.
Принято. Ожидайте дальнейших указаний.
Stand by for further recommendations.
Принято.
Copy.
Алинка, разрешаем выдать причале.
You are go to send final approach command.
Принято, выдаем команду.
Copy. Final approach command.
Даю команду.
Copy. Romeo 5. Okay, and don't rush.
Или еще раз выдать.
Let's take it easy.
Как вам удобно?
Command has been sent. Is this better, or do you want to?
And here's a look at some of the live telemetry and video pictures from the Soyuz 35 spacecraft as it brings Fyodor Yurshikin, Karen Nyberg, and Luca Parmitano within clear visual range of the International Space.
А 04
At 04, 4630,
метров. Скорость движения 30.
1,050 meters. Range rate 3.45 meters per second. Copy. The station
The
is.
visiting vehicle officer here in Mission Control reports to Flight Director Royce Renfrew that
Copy all.
Soyuz 35 spacecraft with a trio of space explorers is now 1 kilometer away from the International Space Station. The approach coming in at Space Station, now just under 2 kilometers to the International Space Station, coming up on impulse burn number 5.
Copy, we're watching.
Continuing to refine the approach to the orbiting outpost. Just under 3.5 meters per second. Lower left-hand corner of the screen on this downlink view from the external cameras, you can see the Soyuz as it continues to match orbits with the International Space Station.